These will be a collection of thoughts on Practical Project 1 and the lessons that I learned. Okay, first up when attempting Practical Project 1 was to choose an appropriate course. Of course, it had to be a multimodal course, and that proved a struggle because a lot of the free courses available online are not at all multimodal, I realized. However, I remembered having done a course several years prior that did have enough multimodal content to give meat to the critical analysis. However, there was a problem with this course, and that was its length. So it was quite long, it was 4 modules long. There were a lot of outcomes, which perhaps covered too much ground to give a concise evaluation. When it comes to the outcomes, were they measurable or not? In my course, one of the constructive criticisms I got over my project was that actually the outcomes of this course were pretty bad. And my instinct had told me they seemed quite vague and not very measurable. And I should have dug more into that in my critical analysis. And it's definitely something that I'm more alert to now. Lastly, when it came to technology incorporation, this was something that I struggled with a lot. Firstly, choosing between the two model evaluation models, which was SAMBER, which is substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition, and then the TPACK model. I ended up choosing the TPACK model because my course dealt with pedagogy, and it dealt with how to use certain technologies in language learning for second language speakers. It was something that I had taught before, so I thought that I was quite confident with the course content, at least. The technology incorporation, though, was minimal, I thought. It was sufficient, and this is why I also ended up choosing the TPACK model. It's because I found it hard to grapple with the SAMBER model. I couldn't really think of examples myself where a task, a learning task, was completely redefined by completely redefined by technology. There were very few examples that I could think of. So that was also a big part of me choosing the TPACK model. Another challenge that I faced in completing this practical project was the format of the evaluation of the course using the TPACK model. Now, evaluating the accessibility and inclusion and other factors like that was pretty straightforward. But the TPACK model, for me, I felt I would have preferred to write the evaluation in a purely essay format, or perhaps in a verbal format. And my reasoning behind this is that when writing it out in table format, I felt it was quite repetitive because I had to put specific bits of information in particular places within the table, when I think logically they actually could have been put together. So for example, which parts did this course do really well could have been a big chunky paragraph. Which parts were a challenge could have been a big chunky paragraph. Or through another mode, didn't have to be text. But the table itself, I really struggled with, and I felt that it actually, instead of helping me be concise, it again made me repetitive. So that was a major challenge for me. Firstly, when it came to critical analysis in my project, mine unfortunately was very brief. I had run out of time. I completely underestimated the amount of time the table evaluation would take. Though one of the comments I did get my feedback is that I had engaged a bit with critical analysis within the table evaluation. Critical analysis in an academic sense is not at all one of my strengths. I struggle a lot to engage with academic literature to form an argument from the literature and then use literature to refute or to agree, um, to create almost I don't want to say a straw man, but to create a consensus from the literature that then I then have to form a rebuttal to. It's something that I definitely struggle a lot with. And so I think this was the greatest challenge of Practical Project 1, to sift through a lot of literature and to take 1 or 2 points from a journal there and a paper there. It's very, very time consuming, and I really struggle to collect my thoughts together and make a cohesive argument. So this is definitely something that I need to improve on.